I'm not making any money. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. Fair use. Yeah. Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah Yahawashi. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops of Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, shalom, shalom to the elect, to the Israelite foreigner, so phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to sisters, Yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawah with the lesson.
People, 100,000 people are being told to evacuate their homes immediately due to widespread catastrophic flooding that is sweeping away homes, and the media isn't even talking about it. What makes this so tragic is that there are people's homes, livelihoods, and even lives that are being taken as we speak, and there is no one around to talk about it. There is a multi-state flooding that is going on, and it starts in Western Washington, where there are current water rescues underway to try to save innocent civilians from what seems like biblical flooding. When I say this is the most flooding these states have ever had, it is so scary to understand that our news is not only not covering it, but they're focusing our citizens' attention to something else that does not matter. We have seen this time and time again when there are massive floods. The media is nowhere to be found. Now, these states have been put under a national emergency where they have declared everyone needs to evacuate immediately. In Washington state, regardless of the amount of flooding that's already happened, there is supposed to be another atmospheric river that is going to expel this in a way that is even more catastrophic coming in the next few days, and the risks are getting higher and higher. Montana, Oregon, and Washington are the states that are being impacted the most, and it's not over yet. As I said before, please stay vigilant, follow for updates, and understand that people are going to lose a lot, including their lives, and this is flooding like we've never seen before, and it's alarming how it's being swept under the rug.
I don't know how they know this, but they're telling us that trillions of gallons of water will fall across California next week. I don't know how they know this, y'all, but do y'all see this over here? What is going on here? And then the skies of California are already looking apocalyptic. In a kind of good way, though. Check this out over here. Check this out over here, y'all. Look at this. Y'all ever seen it this vivid? Look at this new color. It looks like there's a new color, like a teal on the outside of this purple. Can y'all see that? You can see it on this side too. Look. It's like a teal. What? Take a look at this one over here, y'all. People were seeing it all over the skies of California. Y'all, it literally looks like another world out there. Look how dark and gray this part of the sky is. And look what's up there. These double rainbows are something new, aren't they, family? Like, this is something that we have never seen before. It looks like something is intersecting. You guys know about that binary star that they be telling us about? It looks like something is intersecting with our sun. It's the Lord of the Rings up there. Saturn is the Lord of the Rings. And again, how do they know about these trillion gallons of water? So California, all I would say is, hold on, y'all, man. The shift is here, man. They've been warning people about getting out of California for quite some time now, y'all. But this right here, let me know down in the comments below what you think. The shift is here. Let's get it, y'all. Peace out.
Okay, so y'all know how there has been record-breaking flooding that is happening. Now, there has been 42 feet, okay, of water, and it seems to be rising a foot per hour. And when we talk about Washington State, they are in some serious stuff that has been going on. We are nearing our final days, and God has just downloaded so much, y'all. This has been a shattering all historic records since the beginning, this flood that has been taking place. And it's likely to destroy basically all of the crops and a large food supply. Now, I need y'all to understand what the Bible says about the end times. This is all the setup. So Ezekiel 13:13, let me read it really quick. Let me bless your life real quick, okay? Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In my wrath, I will unleash a violent wind. So you know how everybody is talking about the Lord is not going to, he's not going to ruin the world again, destroy the world again with rain, right? But get this, in the scripture, it says, therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In my wrath, I will unleash a violent wind, and in my anger, hailstones and torrents of rain will fall with destructive fury. It is in the Bible, y'all. That's why people have been having prophetic dreams of floods and water and rain. It is coming because it is the destruction, and it is what God has ordained in His Word. Let me see. I will tear down the wall you have covered with whitewash and will level it to the ground so that its foundation will be laid bare. It goes on to talk about what is going to fall and His wrath against the walls against it. Now this is deep because not only that is taking place, Revelation 21:1, it talks about there will be no sea, y'all. Y'all don't even get what the Bible be on. At this point, y'all don't get. Then I saw a new heaven. This is after everything. Was prophesied in the book of Revelation. After all of the prophetic events go forth, this is talking about the New Jerusalem. And it says, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. Y'all, we can't make this stuff up. It is in the Bible. So the destruction, the destructiveness that is taking place, it is not just judgment, but this is all a setup to fulfill God's word and what has to happen for the new earth, because that's what the Bible says. There will be a new earth. Now get this. Not only that, when we look in California, they've been having this strange fog that they're calling a dense whatever it is, fall. Okay, of course, that's what they're gonna say. It's, you know, it's something related to science, whatever. Okay, follow me on this. Now, so they've been having this thick fog. People seem to say that they're getting sick. This is what people are seeming to say, that it's getting them sick. Now, mind you, this fog has been going on, they said, for almost a month. This is even breaking historic records, okay? Now, people say all the time, oh, we always have fog, this is normal. But y'all are missing the point. A lot of what is taking place is breaking history. These things have not happened since the foundation and the beginning of when Earth was founded, right? People have been reporting that they are unable to breathe. I don't know about all of that, but these are just reports. Now, please keep in mind, the Word of God says that there will be a famine in the last days. Now, we see the flooding that is taking place, the crops in Washington state. Now we have California with this fog that could possibly damage the crops. We get 10% of our food supply from California, okay? People are saying that the fog is a bit unhealthy. Some people believe that it's some form of a chemical smell that they're smelling. Now, when we go to Exodus, the 10th chapter, it talks about plagues. Y'all, I can't make this stuff up. It talks about certain plagues. There was a fog in the Bible. The Lord brought a thick darkness over Egypt for 3 days as one of the plagues. Do y'all remember that? And basically, the darkness was basically to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites. And y'all think we're not living in the end times? Y'all think that we just making all of this up? Everything that God does is symbolic. It is always found in his word, and it's always symbolic. God has used fog, and there's many other scriptures, if you really read your word, you'll see, where he's used the thick fog to represent certain things. Sometimes it's to represent his spirit or something to that nature. But it also stated that mainly it is used for judgment. Y'all, what we are seeing, and I told y'all, the Holy Spirit showed me, he gave me a very much so insight into 2026, that the judgment that is going to take place on this earth is going to be an eruption of chaos because, and it's mind-blowing to me that this is not getting any national news.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and correct this this chick. You know, you women be out of order, for one. And but I did notice everybody's speaking about everything being biblical, of biblical proportions, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and correct that chick. You know, beauty. You know, you're beautiful, but beauty means nothing. You know, when it comes to obeying the Most High, and you know, you're out of order. You have no business trying to teach, act like you're trying to get deep or anything like that. It's not your business to touch the Bible. That's for the men of the Lord. I mean, you didn't even have your head covered, right? So let me go ahead and address that, what she said at the end, you know, just to get that out the way. So this is Ezekiel 13:13, and it says, therefore, thus saith the Adonai Most High Power, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash, I will even rend it with a stormy wind in my fury, and in my fury, and there shall be an overflowing, was it shower, right? She must have been reading a different version, like here, right here, it says rain, right? But the whole thing is you have to go deeper than just reading it for face value, right? Because you got to remember this thing was in Hebrew, right? At one point in time, and then maybe into the Assyrian, and then into the Greek, and then into the the Latin, and then to the English. So when you have these different breakdowns and translation, and you have to translate the word from the ancient word or from the original word into English, you lose a lot of the understanding. So you have to go back to the root words to get a true understanding. So it's saying shower in my anger and great hailstone. See, you got to go back to what that hailstone is, right? Because when you shower, someone, I break it down to something you could maybe understand. Niggas get into these so-called turf wars and beef wars, and these gang wars, Crip, Blood, GD, Vice, whatever you are, Latin Kings, whatever you are, right? And they will say something like, I showered them with bullets. Is that actual rain? No, it's just saying they shot at them on multiple times, and it was an array of bullets. It was a lot. You know what I mean? So it's not saying shower like it's rain, right? But it's coming down overwhelming him. That's what it's saying. Overwhelming my anger, a great hailstone in my fury to consume it, right? Which is talking about America, Babylon the Great, which that's what the Lord's going to consume, right? So you got to go a little deeper and see, it's really not your business as a woman to be even doing anything like this. Like you're breaking down the scriptures or something, right? So let's go into this great hailstone.
Strong's H68. Evan,
right? Or really probably would be, yeah. Iben, right? But they put this, whatever. See, stone, right? See, it's not necessarily talking about actual rain, or it says a large or small common stone in natural state, right? Stone as mineral of table, right? Marble, right? Hewn stone, precious stone. Here it is right here. Stone of fire. And that's ultimately what the Lord is about to do. He's about to bring stones of fire, right? And then you're going to know where right here. D. It says stone containing what? Metal. And that's what a nuclear missile is, man. A missile is a stone containing metal. A tool for work or war. And that's what it is. It's a tool that's going to perform the Lord's work for war, right? For a weapon. I mean, it's like it for war, for war, which is a weapon, right? Shalakia. And then it tells you about how much a talent weighs, right? In the scriptures. Plummet, stone, destruction, also made of what? Metal, which is talking about the nuclear missiles. Stone-like object, hailstone, stony heart, ice. Yeah. And it just goes into a bunch of other different things but the point is basically made heart of stone, yeah. Petrified with terror, yeah, right? Yeah, that's a different kind of stone. See, that's totally different when you're turn the stone because you're scared and you see something, you get petrified, you get scared. You're like stone. They tell you like a stone. You didn't move, so that's something totally different. So it goes back to this main part of what the Lord is actually going to do, and it's going to be fire, right? A tool for war, which is a weapon, right? The ICBM missiles, which is going to be used, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 16, verse 21. It says, and there fell upon men a great hail, right? Meaning that metal, the talents, that fire out of heaven, right? Because the missiles are going to go up into the atmosphere and back down into earth. And then some of them are not, they're going to explode before they even hit the earth. They're going to explode in the air and suck the oxygen out of the air and then blow forth fire, which is going to be like that besom of destruction. It's going to be like a destroying wind, right? So it's going to be a very hot wind, right, out of heaven, every what? Stone about the weight. See, it's a stone. Every won't, even though it's metal, it's called a stone. And that's ultimately what's going to happen, because it goes back into the law. Because a sinner, you're supposed to stone them, right? If they sin, so that's why this place is going to be filled with sinners. They get stoned, but also you have a place filled with witches and whores. So you're supposed to suffer not a witch to live. And then if a priest's daughter, if the daughter of a priest is out of control, she must be set on fire, right? And that's what you feel. You feel with sinners and witches, which you're not to suffer to live, and also whores, of the daughters of priests, right? Because basically, well, every Israelite man is technically meant to be a king and a priest. So all of you Israelite women are daughters of a priest. But also this system in itself, via through this AI and through Esau has set himself up to be God. He's setting himself up to be a priest, right? Through this what is it called? Genesis or the genius, right? Through the AI. It's basically like its own prophet, right? And if you're a prophet, then you're a priest. And this is Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, and basically that makes her a daughter. This country, even though it's not actually legitimately a woman, but that's what you call lands. Mother Russia, the motherland. You call Africa the motherland. You call these places, these names, like as if a woman, right? And in the scripture, this place is known as the daughter of Babylon. So that daughter, which is, because Esau's a priest, he's a king, he's the god, he whitewashed everything, he's a god. So that will make America its daughter, which follows after the Babylonian ways, and it must be put on fire, right? And so that's the thing that's happening. And all you rebellious Jakes and Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, you're going to be mingled with it. You're going to get set on fire, right? You're going to get, according to the law, you're going to get hit with stones, right? Every stone about a weight of a talent, and men blaspheme, right? See, and that's you Jakes, you Israelites. You have blasphemed the Most High Power, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, because of the plagues, right, of the hell, for the plague thereof was exceedingly great. And so it's going to shower you, overcome you, overwhelm you, right? What was I going to? Oh, talent. That's what I want. Because this is
Strong's G 5006. Talantias.
Talantias, right? Talantias, a weight, right? Worth of a talent. And then, I guess Yahawashi give a parable, he mentions a talent, but the talent in that case is speaking of a penny. It's spiritual. It's saying like your spiritual, it's like a spiritual payment that you're meant to get, right? When you do the work, you do the Lord's will, and he'll give you the penny, and the pennies is a day's wage, right? Going back into the Roman Empire, because that's when the Lord appeared. So he's giving them an example, and it was a denarius, which is a day's wage, right? But it goes beyond that, especially when it being spiritual, because then you get to get on the chariots, Lord willing, you'll be of that number, right? And that will be your day's wage. And of course, the Lord will allow you to rule over the nations, and then you'll be part of the famous Israelites that, that the scriptures are about, and then there'll be stories and things written about you, your triumph and all the things, and how you trust in the Lord, and how you overcome, because it basically starts writing about you overcoming in Revelations, right? Them that have overcome the mark and have not bowed down and have overcome the beast. So that's already bringing forth you that fame, right? And it says a talent, silver weighed about 100 pounds, right? Which basically, like I was talking about money, right? So talent is known as money, but it's also known, in a talent of gold, it's 200 pounds, right? But it's also just known as a weight, right? And that nuclear missile it comes from a metal, it's going to be about 200-300 pounds, but it's going to have a thrust of a fire coming from it, from being nuclear, right? Yeah. So this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 13, Salakia, and the stars, right, which are actually talking about the nuclear warheads, right, of heaven fall unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, right? And if you look at the shape of a fig, it's basically like shaped like a nuclear missile, right? So it's giving you like an understanding that, or like it kind of looks like a missile, the things that they show you, like when it falls. So it's showing you, it's giving you an understanding, because he can't say what it was. You have to understand the time period that he lived, but he's just describing it the best he knows how. So he's like, man, it looks like a fig. It's like shaped like a fig, but it's coming down with this great power, with this fire, right? And it's raining upon them, right? Not like a regular rain. It's overcoming them, taking them, right? With this fire, it's raining down, pelting them in the head, and just casting fire everywhere, right? Figs, when she shaken, right? And that's talking about a tree. See, is a tree really a she, or is it just it's symbolic, right? Saying she is shaken of a mighty wind, which synonymous with that nuclear wind, right? When the nuclear wind blows, it's going to blow through, right here it says summer wind, right? And if you ever know about a summer wind is hot, especially here. I live in Arizona. When we get like a really good what they call dust storms, and it's really, really hot and muggy, and then the wind's blowing, and sometimes we get those really gusty days, but it's hot. It's hella hot. All of this is just straight hot wind, and that's what it's symbolatry of. It's giving you an understanding. It's about to be a hot wind, right? Yeah, by a strong wind, right? Basically being the missiles being shot over here and then detonating, right? The many different ways that it detonates, right? Because you got the regular nuclear missiles, then you got these hypersonic nuclear missiles now, and now Putin just created another one that it don't run out of fuel. It's what do you call it? How do you say it? It's powered. I'll say it that way. It's powered by nuclear power. So it ain't gonna run out of fuel. So he don't gotta worry about, if it gets shot off and then, so much what do they call it? Jet fuel or whatever, and say it goes and it runs out of jet fuel and fall out the sky or something, which that's not going to happen because the Lord said all of them are going to make it. None is going to miss, right? But with this nuclear powered nuke, right? It's never going to run out of energy, right? It could circle around, right? Because they were saying something about it. They could shoot it. It could spin around for 3 days or something crazy and then come down and hit. So they could have had a shot at 3 days ago, 3 days earlier. Some craziness. I don't know if it was 3 days or 2 days or something. It was some crazy hours, Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you can look it up. It was something like that. It was something crazy that the nuke gets shot off a day or two, something like that prior, and it'll come down when they have it. I guess whenever they set it to come down. Yeah, that's crazy. It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it rolled together every mountain, right? Dealing with the rulerships of this world, because all of them are going to take hits from a nuclear missile, but the one that's going to take nuclear missile after nuclear missile after nuclear missile after nuclear missile after nuclear is America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, right? It's going to be the basically turned into the lake of fire, right? And it says and the islands were moved out of their place, right? So you get, you have those what do they call it? Caribbean islands. They're no longer going to exist, because that's how much power and how much nuclear force is going to hit. That those islands are no longer going to be there, right? They're not long going to exist. It says the sky was split, separated from the land, and the rolled up, right? Yeah, see, because that's what they call a mushroom cloud. When the nuke hit and it goes and it rolled up like a scroll, right? If you took like a old ancient scroll, and you know how it's always rolled together, right? And you unroll it, right? And then you let it go. What it does is it rolls back to its original form, or somewhat of its original, like real fast, because it's but he's explaining like it rolls, it's like it rolled like a scroll. And came up, opened up a mushroom cloud, right? And every mountain and island were dislodged and moved out of their place, right? So yeah, those Caribbean islands and all those other different that's close to America, they ain't gonna exist anymore, right? See, yeah, because the chick, she don't know what she's doing. You're supposed to go into this right here, because that's where you see where it says translate or transliterate, right? Because you know that these words were something else. They were Greek. Really, they were Hebrew, and then put into the Latin and the Greek, and then put into English, which English is, it got a little bit of Latin and a little bit of other stuff into it, but English is super, super broke down. It's really barbaric. Like, it loses a lot of power, but you got to go back.
Strong's G417, animus.
Animus, right?
Animus.
Animus, see? Wind. A violent agitation, see? That's not talking about a regular storm. Oh, yeah, it's a storm. No. That's not even talking about a hurricane or a tornado. That's a big, strong agitation or whatever, but not like that. This is talking about a nuclear wind, something hot, and a stream of wind, a very strong, tumultuous wind. All right, let's see what tumultuous means. To a regular dictionary.
Tempestuous.
Or tempestuous. Characterized by a strong and turbulent or conflicting emotion, yeah. Conflicting emotion. Yeah, there you go. Fiery. Yeah, that's basically what it is. See, they're trying to go into just it being emotion, but it goes to it being fiery. Fire. Right? Because it's talked about the Lord's anger. And his anger is fire, but also the nuclear missiles are fire. Right? It's going to roll like a scroll. Right? Yeah, because they're just going into like emotions and things like that. But basically, it's fire. It's going to be fiery. Which talk about the missiles. Quick-tempered. Yeah, no. Right. Yeah, that's just going into the thing, but it's going to be fire. Right? Explosive. Right. And see, it's going into it just being the Lord's anger, but he's going to, this fire, this thing that's coming down, these nukes are representative of his anger, of his fiery, explosive anger, which is going to be a literal fire and explosions, right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 22. It says, I will rise up against them, saith Yahawah, right, which is talking about Esau, Edom, and Babylon the Great, which is America, the daughter of Babylon, at that, and cut off from Babylon, which is talking about the daughter of Babylon, which is America, the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahawah, right? And then we go into the Amplified version, it actually says even grandsons, right? Which meaning they're going to wipe out, all the generations so that it cannot come back. The Obadiah 1 and 18 is going to happen, right? Which, of course, you have to spend your 1,000 years of hardcore chattel slavery first, but yeah, Obadiah 1:18 eventually. And I will also make it a possession for the bittern, which is talking about the desert creatures, right? Because in this, even this will allow you to think that it's talking about rain and and pools of water. I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. Which, I mean, like I said, the Lord could make things rain and make the water flood and destroy certain parts. But the point is, the Lord is not going to allow water to overflow the entire world, right? This chick thinks she knows what she's talking about. That's not what it's talking about. That's the whole point of the rainbow that he gave to Noah, that he would no longer flood the entire world to bring it to fruition, so to speak, right? This time it's going to be fire, right? Which that's what it is, And it says water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, which is talking about that nuclear wind from the fire. But even in this, when you go into the thing, it talks about mire and mud. So it kind of almost lets you believe, this part will have to be something to have to do with water or something like that. Saith Yahawah of hosts, right? But we know it's not that, because it's going to make the entire habitat of America, from one end of America to the other, become a desert, right? And it says, and you can't do that with the water, right? Because water will just, it will nourish it, right? It'll wash it out, but then, you just water the ground. What's in the ground? The vegetation. But the Lord said he's not going to leave it where it has like that type of vegetation, right? It's just only going to be enough for desert creatures. Watch, I'm going to prove it. Yahawah of hosts swore, saying, surely as I thought, so shall it come to pass, as I have pure purposed, so shall it stand, right? So it's part of the Lord's purpose, and it will stand. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 11. And it says, but the cormorant and the bittern, right? Going back to that word bittern, right? To show you it's going to be the desert creatures, shall possess it, right? Going into it. The owl, right? Showing you what the bittern is. The owl also, and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon the lines of confusion, showing you that it's going to destroy all of America, because you ain't going to know where New York is compared to Jersey or Connecticut. You know what I mean? You're not going to know the difference between California and Arizona or Nevada or anything. You're not going to know, what is it, the four corner states with Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada. And they have that four corner state, and that part you could stand in, and you could stand on all four corners of the state. So you know that if you're on this, you're on this. There's gonna be no such thing. The besom of destruction, the nuclear wind is gonna blow, and the missiles are gonna hit. This place is gonna be the lake of fire. And when all said is done, when all the smoke and everything is gone up, and after it calms down, you ain't gonna know from what place. You're just going to see a desert, and the Lord's going to leave it that way for the desert creatures, right? Showing you, stretching out the lines, stretching out upon it the lines of confusion and the stones of emptiness. See? And those missiles are going to hit, boom, 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 and leave everything, no buildings, no nothing. It's going to be emptiness. Stones of emptiness, right? That's what's going to happen. It's going to burn it down, right? But the pelican and chill out. The pelican and the, I don't know how to say that.
Porcupine.
Oh, porcupine. Okay. I think it's the way. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. But the pelican and the porcupine will take possession of it. The owl, the ravens will dwell in it. I don't know why they did that. Because the pelican it's not a desert creature. Because it's about to be a desert. That's why, because you have the what they call a burrow owl. And we have that here in Arizona. We have burrow owls and we have ravens. And you have certain things. I believe there's another one where it speaks about the doleful creatures that's going to be here. It's not going to destroy it by water and then it be a desert. No. Yeah. So the owl and the raven will dwell in it, and he will stretch out over it. Edom, right? Which that's this place. Edom, the measuring lines of destruction, right? Which is the missiles, and the plummet line of emptiness, right? So you're going to be able to balance and look at it and excavate and, I think this is where Dallas was at, and if we could do this and we could build Dallas up and we'll just call it New Dallas, and you need to know from one end to the other where anything is at. It's going to be that desolate, right? Yeah, it says Isaiah chapter 13 verse 19, and Babylon, which is talking about the daughter of Babylon, which is America, talking about the Edomites, because we just read that the glory of kingdoms, right, which is America, the beauty of the Chaldeans, their witchcraft, using their media, using their influence over the world, and this and that, to be excellent, their military, right, shall be as when the power of the Most High Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash, overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? It wasn't rain, lady. That's why you have no business touching the Bible. It was not rain, right? And it ain't destroy the entire whole land of America, right? Because that Babylon is talking about the daughter of Babylon, which is America, right? The lines of confusion. It ain't did that. Water didn't do that, right? And people still live there, right? And it shall never be inhabited, see? Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, which has been a very long time. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, right? Because they're known as nomadic, right? The Ishmaels, they're very savvy when it comes to being able to dwell in desolate places. They know how to find water. They know how to keep going, and they will have their well, actually, it's going to go into it. Neither shall the shepherd make their shepherd make their fold there, right? Which talking about their sheep, their cattle. That's what they would do. They would have their cattle, and they would, scour the land, find some water. They were very savvy in being able to do that, right? And that ain't gonna happen, right? But wild beast, the only thing is gonna be here, and water is not gonna do that. ICBM missiles, that besom, the true besom of destruction, because the Esau don't know what they're talking about. They put it down as if it's talking about water, like if it's no, it's gonna rain down on you, hot fire, right? Right. But wild beast of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of what? Of doleful creatures. We're talking about desert creatures, right? And owls shall dwell, and satyrins shall dance there, right? And wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, right? Might as well keep going. The desolate houses, the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons, right? Desert creatures, not talking about actual dragons, talking about lizards and things like that. And then, hey, once the Lord let off all these wild beasts, newly created beasts, things that we've never seen before, hey, you might actually see some dragons, right? But you got the, what do you call it, the Komodo dragon. You got these other little dragons, these different lizards, and you might see some actual big lizards, in their pleasant places, and her time is near to come, right? America's destruction is very near to come. So you were right about that. But the rain, oh wait, but God's talking about, and you're trying to make it seem like you're coming up with something deep, but you're not. And her days shall not be prolonged. So it's not much longer before the Lord rain down hot fire, and not rain, not a big flood. That's just Esau using his harp machine, and basically what they did to what you call them, because it worked in Katrina, right? And you were able to move people out. You do it like this time, and now you could bring in your 15-minute cities. Pretty much what they've been doing to everything. Those are the rural places that people could have survived in. They could have went a long time without, we can go without the government, right? So, with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters Yahawashi, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawah with the lesson and the Baba Ball. Kwam Yasharallah.